Stop looking at the stars for aliens. The real breach is 2,000 meters below your feet, where the pressure turns bone into powder and the rules of biology vanish. Let's descend. Black swallower, the glutton. We start at 1,000 meters in the twilight zone with a lesson in gluttony. The black swallower is barely 25 centimeters long, but it possesses a stomach that functions like a high-tensile rubber bag. It doesn't just eat, it occupies the space where its prey used to be. It regularly consumes fish 10 times its own mass. Don't confuse it with the gulper eel. The eel has a massive mouth but a tiny stomach. The swallower goes for the full takeover. The stomach expands until it's transparent, revealing the undigested corpse of its victim through the skin. Sometimes the meal is so large it begins to rot before it can be digested. The resulting gases turn the fish into a biological balloon, shooting it to the surface until it literally bursts. It's a design flaw. The hardware doesn't know when to stop, leading to a predator that consistently eats itself to death. Giant Isopod, the deep sea bug. Descending into the midnight zone, we find the ancient cleanup crew. Imagine a common woodlouse, then scale it up to the size of a domestic cat. These are the armored tanks of the sea floor. They are scavengers, but they aren't patient. While they primarily wait for marine snow, the falling debris of the dead, they've been filmed attacking live sharks, latching onto their faces like something out of a Ridley Scott movie. They can go years without a single meal, their metabolism hovering near zero, just waiting for a carcass to drop. When it does, they don't just eat. They hollow it out from the inside. To handle the crushing pressure, their exoskeleton is heavily calcified, turning them into living fossils that haven't needed a software update in 160 million years. Goblin shark, the alien jaw. At 1,200 meters, we find a shark that shouldn't exist. The goblin shark looks like a mistake, a long, fleshy snout packed with electroreceptors. But the real horror is the hydraulic mouth. When it gets close to prey, it doesn't just bite. It launches its entire jaw out of its face at lightning speed. It's called protrusible jaw mechanics. Don't confuse it with the frilled shark. The frilled shark has 300 needle teeth, but its jaw is fixed. The goblin shark is a spring-loaded trap. Its face deforms into a nightmare of pink flesh and jagged teeth for a fraction of a second before snapping back into place. The movement is so fast it creates a vacuum, sucking the prey into the throat before the victim even registers the movement. It's the closest thing to a xenomorph found in nature. At this depth, below 4 degrees Celsius, the cold is as heavy as the water. The ocean is a hydraulic press. Imagine a 5-ton truck balancing all its weight on your thumb tip. That is the pressure of the deep. Your body would collapse inward, just implode like a soda can crushed by a giant fist, in total silence. Stoplight loosejaw, the sniper. Deep in the dark of the midnight zone, the light spectrum fails. Red light is the first to be filtered out, meaning most creatures here are literally blind to it. The loosejaw has hacked this system. It produces its own red bioluminescence from organs under its eyes, acting like a sniper with an infrared scope. It illuminates its prey while remaining completely invisible to them. But look at the jaw. It has no floor. It's just a skeletal frame. This design eliminates water resistance during the strike, allowing the jaw to snap shut with zero drag. Most fish fight the density of the water. The loosejaw simply ignores it, executing a high-speed kill in a frequency no one else can see. Barreleye fish, the transparent cockpit. Still within the midnight zone, we find a design shift that defies logic. The Barreleye has a completely transparent, fluid-filled dome for a forehead. Those 2 dark spots in the front? Those are nostrils, not eyes. The actual eyes are the glowing green orbs inside the skull. They are tubular, like binoculars, and they rotate. The fish sits motionless, looking straight through its own head to spot silhouettes of prey above. When it's time to strike, the eyes roll forward to look through its face. The green pigment in the eyes is a specialized filter that ignores bioluminescent light but amplifies the faint sunlight from above. It's the ultimate stealth cockpit. a creature that lives inside its own head. The Colossal Squid, the hooked monster. Now we hit the heavyweights in the abyssal zone. Everyone knows the giant squid, but the Colossal Squid is the version that actually hunts nightmares. It's heavier, meaner, and better equipped. While the giant squid has suckers with tiny teeth, the Colossal Squid has swiveling, razor-sharp hooks embedded in its tentacles. It doesn't just grab, it shreds. The tentacles are armed with 2 rows of these hooks that can rotate 360 degrees, locking into the flesh of its opponent. These are the monsters that fight sperm whales in the dark, leaving deep, circular scars and gouges in the whale's thick hides. It's a 500-kilogram kraken with rotatable blades and eyes the size of dinner plates. Black Seadevil, the melting husband. At 3,000 meters and deeper in the abyssal zone, the biology gets truly sick. The anglerfish, specifically the Black Seadevil, is famous for its glowing lure, but that's the least interesting thing about it. The real horror is the sexual parasitism. The male is born as a tiny, pathetic creature with a huge nose and no digestive system. His only goal is to find a female. When he does, he bites her stomach and never lets go. He releases an enzyme that melts his own face into her skin, fusing their bloodstreams. His internal organs literally dissolve. He becomes a permanent appendage, losing his brain, heart, and eyes until he is nothing but a pulsating sack of sperm. She can carry up to 6 of these husbands at once. It's a permanent deletion of the male's identity. Magnapinna Squid, the long-arm alien. Finally, the end of the line, the hadal zone, the big-fin squid. It looks less like an animal and more like a marionette controlled by a ghost. It has 8-meter-long arms that don't dangle. They bend at a sharp 90-degree angle, trailing behind it like skeletal fingers. There is no comparison for this. No other squid has this silhouette. The arms are covered in microscopic sticky cells rather than suckers, designed to snag anything that touches them. It hunts like a predator or drifts like a kite, waiting for something to bump into its translucent filaments. It was only filmed for the first time in the late 80s, and we still have no idea how it lives or why it grows that way. It is the ultimate stay-out sign for the deep sea. Down here, the pressure is 800 times higher than at the surface. In a world this efficient, aren't we the ones who look like the design flaw? Stay curious.